Hello and welcome to World Talks. I'm your host, Diana Skaya. Warsaw is hosting the 10th anniversary 3Seas Summit on April 28 today and April 29 with high-level delegations from over 20 countries expected to attend. Now, the summit is a politically inspired, commercially driven platform for improving cooperation, connectivity between 13 EU member states allocated between Baltic, Adriatic, and the Black Seas. And joining us to discuss this further is Wojciech Przybylski, Editor-in-Chief, Visegrad Insight, here with me in studio. Wojciech, so happy to have you here with us on World Talks.
Welcome again. Happy to be here.
So before we begin, I'd like to invite you to listen to what Poland's President Andrzej Duda had to say at the opening of the summit.
I'm delighted that the 3Seas community is continuously expanding its ranks, welcoming into them further countries that wish to establish a closer cooperation in a region. During the summit, which starts tomorrow, Montenegro and Albania will officially join the 3Seas initiative as associated participating states, and Turkey and Spain will join us as the strategic partners. So this is very, very good. I can say great information. I believe that also thanks to the new members, the cooperation within this format will become more meaningful and more fruitful, and the summit in Poland will contribute to strengthening the ties between all member countries and partners of the initiative.
Wojciech, so we heard President Duda just say that new members, the importance for Poland. This year does mark the 10th anniversary. What are the biggest achievements so far from this 3Seas summit, and what are its key elements? How would you call this?
Well, the initiative itself in design is very ambitious and it's well thought through. But the performance over the past 10 years has been rather disappointing. I think we can clearly say that there is not one single initiative that would exist just because of the 3Seas initiative. The ambition of the 3Seas initiative has been to establish links north and south through the region, to build roads, to build energy connectivity, and to build digital connectivity throughout the region in areas which have funding from the European Union, but the connectivity between the states to coordinate their plans and to build the infrastructure needed some additional leverage. Here comes 3Seas initiative 10 years ago. So where are the common initiatives that have been built because of the 3Seas initiative? Where are the railroads connecting Poland and Lithuania and further Latvia and Estonia? We just don't have them. We don't have them, and the Baltic states and Poland now only because of the geopolitical tensions and the war of Russia with Ukraine are speeding up with the buildup. And so far, not even a passenger, let alone logistics, military logistics, can go through these areas easily. So the new plans now see 2028 as a new deadline for having new buildup in this connectivity. Energy connectivity to Hungary, to Slovakia. Well, to Slovakia we have some with Poland. These are predating the 3Seas initiative. But Hungary has not been a very good supporter of Andrzej Duda's initiative, and we're not very ardent followers of Donald Trump policy, who basically sponsored politically the initiative and haven't built the connectivity across the region north-south and kept their dependency on the autocratic Russia. So these are examples of where the ambitions and the great plan for the 3Seas initiative is missing the target, because after 10 years, it looks like the oldest political startup on the continent.
You mentioned a lot of interesting things there, but I want to take you back on your words. How do you think that the war affected, the war in Ukraine affected these projects?
Well, these projects will develop over time. The plans for these projects have existed before. The Visegrad Group has, since its onset in 1990s, set the ambition to connect this region, north and south, and to overcome the geographical barrier the mountains, of the Carpathian Mountains, essentially, that was preventing from realizing the full potential, and to go really south of Poland and to bring more prosperity and security and simply good relations between the nations of Central Eastern Europe. Otherwise, they've been exposed to the West and East interest and key partners that followed with investments, the railroads, the roads that we can see, and even the gas pipelines. These are all, or mostly, west and west-east in their direction. But there were some developments.
Positive ones?
Some positive ones, but they are not because of the Three Seas initiative. They've been because of the crisis we have experienced around 2008 with the gas crisis and Russia turning off the valves on the pipelines, and the Visegrad Group countries had to rush to the European Union to mobilize the resource and political leverage in order to build up and boost up diversification of the connectivity, thanks to which we have some LNG ports. We have now also interconnectivity in the region between Poland and Czech Republic, Poland and Slovakia, further plans going down south as well. And again, the big potential is yet to be fulfilled. I'll just give you an example. In order to get from Warsaw to Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, it takes twice as much time, although the distance is half the distance, than from Warsaw to Paris. So it's exactly the paradox of how much is yet to be achieved. And I don't say that to discredit the initiative again. I'm just saying that the delivery of the past 10 years was disappointing. And it was partly or largely disappointing because there was unfulfilled potential of the EU funds that the previous government has been unable to use. The bulk of the money and bulk of the investment has been chipped in by the Polish government in the PGK, the Polish BGK, the Polish Investment Bank, Development Bank. But this money is just a drop that would make the cup full of EU funds for cohesion, for all the developments that will help eventually make Europe whole and free. And this is the big ambition.
Wojciech, I mean, again, you're pointing out to some key factors here, but now let me ask you this. You know, you spoke about investment. Now, if I tell you in this Three Seas initiative, this summit, I mean, even when you go on there, you know, on the website, so it says energy, transport, digital infrastructure as one of the key elements. Which of those sectors do you think actually most investment should these countries invest in?
Well, where they should invest is primarily logistics. It's crystal clear that our logistic lines, north and south, are the key to boosting and increasing the prosperity of all of the region, which is one of the fastest growing in Europe and very well positioned in the global economic competition. And it would interconnect it and help it grow even further. It would also increase the military mobility potential, which is, again, very, very much needed. So this is number one priority next to energy security, especially in the countries that are most exposed today to the hard power or the geo-economic power of Russia, trying to put a pressure point on the politics of the countries in the region. And also the digital is no less important. All the digital investments that are coming in the Southeast Europe today, I wouldn't say all of them, but many of them are coming from China, a strategic competitor to this exact plan of Three Seas initiative. This is why we have Trump Jr. today and previous weekend, the last weekend, and the following days, touring Southeast Europe from Romania, Serbia, Budapest,
but not Poland.
Czech Republic and Slovakia, but not Poland, to encourage those countries to come and to come on board with the American NATO-aligned business interest that considers China as a strategic competitor, a strategic threat to our economic security. It's not a visit to Poland, because in a way, in those terms, Poland has chosen to be aligned closely with economic security, also with the US, even though it is still undeclared or quite ambivalent in its relationship with China. But there is no other option for Poland. So Trump Jr. is not coming here for this reason, but also, I believe, partly because the presidential race in Poland is a very delicate matter.
And is upcoming, and exactly my next question to you. Last Sunday, Andrzej Duda publicly endorsed Karol Nawrocki in the upcoming presidential elections. Now, my question to you is, how much of an impact do you think now that President Duda's endorsement for Nawrocki will leave on his campaign? I mean, is it going to make a big difference, or was it just some swift political noise?
That is a good question. It seems like Andrzej Duda has had much better performance, according to the opinion polls of the PIS candidate, in certain age groups, and positioning Andrzej Duda as someone who endorses Nawrocki in the center of the stage of the key political event for PIS last weekend shows that the party itself and president are committed to pull this candidate who has been performing very poorly now by his ears to get him to the second round as close as he can be to Mr. Trzaskowski. Their hopes are, of course, to somehow reproduce the miraculous and well-earned and deserved victory of Andrzej Duda in 2015, in the sense that there was a really heavy campaigning and not my cup of tea, but still a talented politician that Mr. Duda is. Now, Mr. Nawrocki doesn't seem to be very talented in this oratory skills, in this ability to speak to people, to be direct, and to attract attention. Mr. Duda is throwing a lifeline rope, essentially, to Mr. Nawrocki to pull him in with a bit of the political capital that he still is enjoying, and he remains with the office, and is stepping out of the line, on the other hand, in the political culture of what Polish presidents have never done before, because none of the Polish presidents since 1989 was so heavily politically tainted and never went into the political battle lines in the presidential race. Now, Mr. Duda is risking reputation not only of himself, that depends on the result of Mr. Nawrocki, but the reputation of the office, because the office has all of a sudden became much more partisan than that it has ever been.
But don't you think that Nawrocki's numbers have risen slightly?
Nawrocki numbers are rising, and we see that he's matching the numbers of the party. The question is whether he can go beyond the party numbers in the first round, and if he can mobilize more people to vote for him. The opinion polls that I mentioned show that, for instance, in the segment of people around 50, Andrzej Duda performs a lot better by 10 percentage points than Mr. Nawrocki is currently polling.
Thank you so much, Wojciech Przybylski, for all your insight here with everything that's taking place in Poland. Glad to have you here in studio with us.
Thank you.
And that's all for this edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Don't go away. News up next.